Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and Happy New Year's. If you are wondering where the career mode episode is, that will be here later today, so don't worry about that. But today we're going to be doing something that we already did on this channel. One of my more successful videos is F1 2020 versus NASCAR Heat 5, and I made that video before the games came out, just based on what we knew about them. And they both released on July 10th, 2020, and I talked about them, and I didn't really know what I was talking about, to be fair. But now I've played both a pretty substantial amount, and I kind of want to revisit that topic and talk about it again. So that's exactly what we're going to do. One thing that I did want to say here is this gameplay is terrible. This is my driver career. I've mostly been playing my team career, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was in a PlayStation party with my friends when I got this recording, so just ignore the gameplay recording. But also, let me know down in the comments if you want to see a driver career. I know a couple people have, but I don't know if there's enough interest in it, so maybe I will, maybe I won't. Let me know if you want to see it. But with that being said, let's just get into my opinion here, and my opinion is cut and dry. The first comparison that I made with these games is wrong. It's completely wrong. Okay. This game is not even comparable to NASCAR Heat 5. I am a NASCAR fan at heart. If you've watched this channel, you know I like F1, but I'm mostly a NASCAR fan. But this game is miles and miles and miles and miles above NASCAR Heat 5 in almost every single way. I'm not going to lie. These games are barely comparable. We're going to be comparing them today, obviously, but these games are not close. Playing this game, so I haven't played an F1 game before this game, and I used to not really like it. I wasn't that interested in playing them because I knew the game was quality, but the style of racing wasn't for me. I was kind of a casual racing gamer. And this game isn't really for the casual racing gamer. However, there is a casual mode. I haven't tried that out, but I've heard there is one. But this game is more like intense. You have to be so precise with everything and make good corners and just work everything to the exact right extent. And that wasn't for me. I like NASCAR where you can kind of bump around. There's a lot of room for error. But if you're someone who genuinely plays racing games a lot, this game, you're going to have more fun with this game. And that is for a multitude of reasons. First of all, we're going to be comparing the career. Now, the career in NASCAR Heat 5 isn't bad. It's not bad. You start in the Dirt Series and you work your way up to the Cup Series. There are definitely issues. For example, you can either sign with a team or own a team, but own a team is kind of iffy because you can't sign other drivers. There's no driver market. Any sort of transfer or progression in drivers in the mode is non-existent. That is my biggest problem with the mode, and I think that's most people's biggest problem with the mode. But it's not bad. It's not a bad mode. However, the driver career on F1 2020 blows NASCAR Heat 5's career out of the water. And that's the driver career. We haven't even gotten into my team yet. The driver career, it has research and development. It's somewhat like the NASCAR career. You start in F2, sign with the driver academy, work your way up. Depending on your performance, you'll get signed to to teams. You can pick where you want to go to an extent. You work your way up, you can transfer teams. Teams can grow and everything can be shaken up because there's team rankings in this game, something that's almost missing from NASCAR. NASCAR has stars, but it's kind of cheesy. You're either 3, 4, or 5 stars. There's only 3 different things you can be. This game has much more detailed rankings. There's driver transfers in this game, so you could be driving with Max Verstappen on Mercedes in 2024. And then you have my team, which is the greatest mode ever introduced into a racing game, in my opinion at least. You can start your own F1 team, customize your driver, assign another driver, work your way up, upgrade your facilities, upgrade your cars, upgrade your second driver, get money from sponsors, get money from income, pay expenses, manage your team's morale, all of this crazy stuff. What it really comes down to in the career battle here is NASCAR Heat 5's career. You can own a team or you can drive for a team. And F1 breaks that into two separate modes, and each one is multitudes of times deeper than NASCAR's is. So, with that being said, F1's career blows NASCAR out of the water. However, I don't want to knock on NASCAR's career too much at all because it's not that bad. It's pretty good. I would recommend playing it, except for the driver transfer thing. That really sucks. So, next up, we have the paint booth, and I'm actually going to give this one to NASCAR Heat 5. I believe this is the first year that F1 has had a paint booth. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it is the first year. NASCAR Heat 5's paint booth and F1's paint booth are both severely lacking. You can't really blame F1, especially if it's their first year, but NASCAR Heat 5's just has slightly more customization options, and their sponsorship options are a little better. However, both of them are really poor. I like that you can customize what your driver wears in F1. You can't do that in NASCAR, but I would definitely like to see an improvement in paint booths for both of these games. That's the one area that both of these games are heavily lacking in. But back to the positives, the gameplay. The gameplay on both of these games is phenomenal, but once again, I'm going to give this to F1. This was my biggest mistake in my initial comparison of these two games. I said that as a NASCAR fan, I just preferred the way NASCAR played. And like I said back then, even that was in June. Back then, I progressed so much as a racing gamer. It's not even close. Back then, I could barely play F1 games, and NASCAR's was just fun. And NASCAR's is fun. It's fun to get on, cause a little chaos, hit some crazy, crashes and all that stuff. But F1 brings a different level of precision. My biggest problem with the gameplay of NASCAR games has really been brought out as I've played F1 2020, because NASCAR games, there aren't really any consequences to your actions at all. And what I mean by that is you can be at Daytona. You can flip down the front stretch 7 times. In real life, you would have broken every single bone in your body, been ragdolled from the car into the stands, and been caught in the 7th row completely dead. And you will restart in last place. You can avoid the pit stop and literally come out in first place, just win the race. And that's it. There's nothing more to it. Nothing matters in racing games. You can have some things matter, I guess, in NASCAR games, not racing games. Like if you have a badly timed wreck, that can affect you, or if you play with full damage on, it can kind of affect you. You have to pit and then give up track position, but you can work your way back. It's very unrealistic, and that bothers me. I don't think NASCAR games should be like that, and they've kind of came away from that a little bit with DNFs and career mode. However, I think that needs to be amplified. Like, there should be like a hardcore mode where if you actually crash, like in NASCAR, you're done. A hardcore mode in NASCAR where it's legitimate would be insane, and I would love to see that. But F1 is constantly hardcore mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, F1, the way they do it is extremely good. Everything matters. There is never a dull moment. You can be running like I have been in this gameplay, just out in the middle of nowhere, nobody's around, and you still have to be so precise, because even the smallest mistake can just completely sell you. It did in my episode 2 of my career mode series, if you want to go check that out. But like, that kind of stuff, it makes it better. There's never a dull moment. You got to be on your A game at all times, and I really like that. It keeps the game interesting. And the other thing about F1 is it lends itself to a style of gameplay where it's one-on-one battles, and you're just trying to overtake this driver and battle with this driver. And NASCAR isn't like that, and that's okay. But I kind of like that style of racing, you know. The physics in F1 are phenomenal. The physics in NASCAR Heat 5 are also pretty good as well. So I'm going to give them that one. I'm not trashing on NASCAR Heat 5 in this review either, because I think NASCAR Heat 5 is an okay game, but I think F1 2020 is an unbelievably amazing game. I think F1 2020 is one of the best racing games I've ever played in my life. And with that being said, that's about all I have to say on this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Comment down below if you want to see a driver career for F1 2020. And this has been Decaf Dr. Thunder. I hope you guys are having a great and safe New Year's. And here's to a great 2021. I will see you guys next time.